back here.
We love a good golden hour, certainly on a Friday, Julie.
Absolutely. Let's say it again and again, especially because we are getting some help from Mother Nature from the fire that we are seeing across parts of Broward County. The smoke and haze definitely more isolated this morning, but unfortunately still over parts of northern Broward County, Coral Springs, Boca Raton. And we are expecting that to continue to be the factor because our winds are moving in from the west-southwest again today, just like yesterday. That wind direction, though, will bring us at least a better chance of storms near our coastline, which could help fight the fire, just like what we saw yesterday as well. As for air quality, though, unfortunately for Broward County, it is at moderate levels. For you in Miami-Dade, you're good. Visibility at 7 miles in Boca, and that's where you saw the thick of the smoke is really headed. And we even see our winds at about 5 miles per hour there, 3 to 6 mile per hour winds, Broward, Miami-Dade, and the Keys. All right, so here is the brush fire, and look, my in-house model does pull some afternoon storms over this area leading into the evening hours, which will be beneficial for everybody. So you don't need the rain gear this morning. It's going to be a hot, humid start, but you will need the rain gear this afternoon, especially when you're picking the kids up from school, possibly in the car line. Let's go to the tropical update. All right, the latest on Hurricane Erin, winds of 90 miles per hour. It's racing to the northeast at 22 miles per hour. All the watches and warnings were allowed to expire because the system's moving away from land, which is great news. The bad news is we've got 3 other areas we are watching in the tropics. We'll continue to keep you posted on more coming up.
All right, thanks, Julie. South Florida, good morning. It's 7:33 on this Friday morning. Happy Friday, right? Let's take a look right here. I-95 going northbound at Northwest 62nd Street. You do have a broken down car in the ramp getting onto 95. You can see it's not causing you any major delays, but once you get on, things are moving slowly here. You do have that right lane blocked. You can see an emergency vehicle there putting some cones up to assist this person. Now let's take you out to your maps so we can see how things are looking. You can see pretty congested across the board, but earlier this week I've seen much worse, much more red on the road. So happy Friday to you that there's not as much congestion as usual out there, but still some traffic. Let's take a look. I-95 going southbound as you approach right here, I-195. So the Julia Tuttle, you can see you've got a large chunk of orange there. You can always take 441 to avoid this. A little further north up here, Broward County, my friends over there, you guys have some delays here on 595 going eastbound. This is as you approach 95. So definitely give yourself a little extra time if that's part of your commute. On that note, let's take a look at some drive times on 595 going eastbound. I-75 to US 1 will take you 16 minutes. University Drive to US 1 will take you 10. Be safe out there.
Alex, take a look at this. South Florida also come to your television screen. This is what's happening in Delaware. This is all because of Hurricane Erin. We talked about the conditions and the rough surf. You can see those white caps in the distance. I do have to tell you, though, it looks beautiful because now that the storm has pushed well away from our east coastline, at least the skies look great. It's not raining anymore. They're not dealing with the downpours, but we're dealing with the high surf. We're dealing with the basic beach erosion. I can only imagine how much of that beach is eroded out there. People are walking along the coastline, but that surf is very rough. There's a high risk of occurrence for all of the East Coast for the rest of the day. Same for us here in South Florida. Our main focus is the smoke. We did have some live pictures from parts of US 27 where the brush fire is. We don't have, there we are. We wanted to keep you posted because this is what it looks like as you walk out the door. A lot of you in Broward County are still dealing with that smoke and haze, and you can see just how the smoke's rising and what direction it's going in. That plays a big part in our forecast for you as you're headed out the door. Look, this is depicting exactly what my graphic is showing. The smoke is rising and it's all headed towards the east. So for you in northern Broward County, you're still dealing with moderate air quality. For us today, for you in Miami-Dade, your air quality has improved tremendously. You're good. But unfortunately for Broward County, because we're so close to our forecasted winds moving in from the west-southwest and that brush fire, it is going to continue to provide for the possibility for us to have to deal with the smoke and haze for much of the morning into the afternoon hours. And then we go into the weekend and we see another wind direction, and that's going to play a big part on where the smoke and haze goes. We're also anticipating some much needed rainfall. We do have an extreme drought conditions. The new drought monitor came out yesterday for much of the metro coastal areas of Broward County all the way down to the county line of Miami. As for rainfall totals, well, you can see why we're in extreme drought. Fort Lauderdale over 15 inches for the year and a deficit over 6 inches for Miami. Yesterday we saw some measurable rainfall all across South Florida. Guess what? We're going to do it again today. Highest rain chances today and tomorrow, and then they start to taper off going into next week. But boy, it looks beautiful out there. It is hot. It is humid. We're in the low 80s. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, mid 80s for you in Key West. Winds out of the west southwest, bringing this heat and humidity. Our feels like temperatures, check it out, already in the triple digits for you in Key West. As for showers, we're rain free for now, but we are anticipating that chance of storms in the forecast this afternoon. We have drier air in the upper levels of the atmosphere with that west wind. That's why we're starting off nice and dry. Otherwise, afternoon storms expected today and afternoon storms expected tomorrow. So hopefully Mother Nature will help us fight this fire with the rainfall associated with the sea breeze storms. Have a great day.
South Florida, we're taking a look at your roads right now. You have a live look right now at the turnpike going north and southbound, but you can see those southbound lanes have an accident on your Friday morning. Broward County, your first accident of the day. This right here is as you approach US 27, or not US 27, Northwest 27th Avenue rather. Let's take you to your map so you can see the delays that are starting to happen. You just saw that live look. It's not a very big pocket. Once you get past it, you are in the green. Just be aware of those emergency vehicles if this is part of your commute this morning. You do have a left lane block there. A little further down south here, my Miami-Dade friends, as you start to approach downtown Miami, you can see you do have some delays here in your southbound lanes of I-95. Nothing unusual for this hour in the morning. Speeds coming in as slowly as 15 miles per hour. Take 441 if this is part of your commute to avoid this, or just enjoy the ride and put a good podcast on. Let's take you to some drive times Miami-Dade. This is the Palmetto Expressway going southbound. Northwest 154th Street to the Dolphin will take you 37 minutes, and I-75 to the Dolphin will take you 38. Be safe.
What are we starting with? We're starting with those wildfires, huh? Well, the fire out there in the Everglades.
Yes, and we're also talking about what it looks like live outside right now in Delaware, because Aaron is moving away and their weather patterns continuing to get increasingly more beautiful every time we look at this tower camera. Now, the one thing that you're noticing with this tower camera is the bright blue skies, but also look in the distance, because unfortunately what has not improved yet is still the threat of rip currents out there, the rough surf, but it's not nearly as dangerous and deadly as what we saw as Aaron did make its closest approach to this area yesterday. But we have been hearing about the beach erosion, and there was definitely some flooding across Atlantic City and Atlantic coastal areas did have to deal with the worst of this. That eastern seaboard really had to deal with that onshore flow. So that's what it looks like there. And now we're going to take a look in our backyard, because our concern is completely opposite. It's all about the smoke and haze from our brush fire burning in Broward County, northwestern Broward County. And I love these to show you exactly what's happening when I show you a graphic. It's hard to tell. Live pictures really tell the story. So as you saw, that smoke is lifting up and then it's pushing to one direction. Well, this is the direction. Look, it is headed towards northern portions of Broward County, moving over US 27, moving over parts of the Sawgrass, and moving in towards northern Broward County. Now, all of Broward County under air quality alert of moderate. For you in Miami-Dade, the air quality is good. My in-house model keeps that smoke and haze around at least until tonight. And then what happened? Well, we have the rain moving in. That's really going to help. And then going into tomorrow, we could even see some residual smoke and haze until we start to see a complete shift in the wind direction from the east to the west. When that happens on Sunday, that will push any of this smoke well away from the metro coastal areas. All right, we need the rain. We are in a rainfall deficit. Drought monitor came out yesterday. We are in an extreme drought for parts of the metro and coastal areas of Broward County into the county line of Miami-Dade. As we go to what we've gotten for the year, well, we're in a deficit of over 15 inches in Fort Lauderdale, over 6 in Miami. We're in a surplus in Key West. So yesterday we did see some downpours with some measurable rainfall. Guess what? We're going to do it again today. Today and tomorrow is our highest rain chances in the forecast. Then they start to taper off as we go into Sunday and going into next week. But I do have to tell you, it looks beautiful out there from our Fort Lauderdale tower cam, facing towards the Atlantic with those clear skies and dry conditions. Temperature dew points mid to upper 70s. It feels like the 90s out there. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, a muggy 101 degrees in Key West already. As for rain, we had one isolated shower very early this morning by Marathon, but since then we've been mostly rain free. We've got drier air moving in, so we need the peak heating of the day to get these showers and storms to spark. And once they do so, they will be favoring our coastline. That's why we have a high rain chance today in Broward and Miami-Dade, also going into tomorrow. Feels like temperatures will be well into the triple digits. And if you want to head to the beach or do some boating, for us though, we still have a high risk of rip current, so stay out of the water. But boaters looking so much better. It has improved definitely with the nearshore waters at a light shop and a light shop on the bay. Hurricane Aaron, as of the 5 a.m. advisory, we actually just got the intermediate one that said it was still a 90-mile-per-hour winds. And we are watching these 3 other areas in the tropics. Again, we have plenty of time to watch those going into the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, let's hope Mother Nature helps us fight the this fire with that rainfall. Have a great day.
Let's definitely hope for that. Julie, South Florida, good morning. Happy Friday. It's 8:20. Let's take a look at your roads. Things pretty busy out there right here. I-95 north and southbound. Your southbound lanes in this area of Northwest 62nd Street, you can see are moving pretty slowly there. Let's take you to your maps because southbound lanes are just very congested as you move even further down south. This right here is as you cross over the Airport Expressway going southbound. You can see this very large chunk of red. 8 miles per hour is how slow things are moving. You can take 441 to avoid this altogether. Let's take you over to another area where we were just reporting an accident to you. It is starting to clear up. You can see there you no longer have any roads closed and you don't have a left lane blocked anymore there. This is at Northwest 27th Avenue, but there are still emergency vehicles there going westbound rather. So definitely be careful as you head out into that area. Let's take you to 595 going eastbound. This right here will take you 19 to 11 minutes to get you where you need to go. Broward County, be safe.
Annaliese, helping a little bit with those wildfires burning out west. Any more assistance from Mother Nature today?
Well, the assistance this morning we'll be grateful for is the wind direction. Eric, Alexis, South Florida, pushing the smoke and haze more north of our area as it is. There is still some of it kind of lingering by Coral Springs and Boca, but that's going to benefit us this morning. Then by the afternoon, the benefit will be those showers and storms I'm expecting across parts of Broward County. 1 o'clock, we will see some of that smoke and haze starting to diminish, hopefully, because we'll see some of those storms and going into the overnight hours. But regardless, the smoke and haze, it will linger until we get this contained, but it just depends on how thick it is and how the wind direction will play a huge part in it going into the weekend. Moderate air quality for the forecast of Broward County. For you in Miami-Dade, your air quality is good. Visibility back to 10 miles across the board. We have our winds moving in from the west-southwest, anywhere between 3 to 6 miles per hour. So again, we will watch for a few spotty storms, possibly right over where the brush fire is in Broward County, and then moving towards the metro coastal areas. This will all be beneficial since we are in such a drought and since we need some help from Mother Nature to fight this fire. As for temperatures, low 80s now. We're talking highs in the mid-80s. Feels like temperatures in the triple digits. Highs range and to start just after 2 p.m. Let's go to the tropics. The latest on Hurricane Erin, as I've been mentioning all morning long, winds are at 90 miles per hour, continues to race away from the United States and away from Bermuda. All watches and warnings were allowed to expire at the 5 a.m. advisory, so we'll see the system move off in towards the Atlantic as a fish storm. And speaking of the Atlantic, we're very busy. They've upped the chances for this area that was basically on the heels of Erin with a 90% chance of development and then one with a 40% behind that. I'll have a lot more in your forecast coming up.
Thanks, Julie. South Florida, happy Friday. Let's take a look at your roads right now. We have a live look for you at I-95 going north and southbound. Your southbound lanes moving much slower than your northbound lanes. This is near Northwest 62nd Street, so you can see that traffic is moving very slow. That is no fun. You can take 441 if you'd like to avoid this. Let's take you over a little further down south. This is just after the Airport Expressway. Weesh, that's a lot of red right there. That is no fun to sit in. Speeds coming in as slowly as 8 miles per hour. Definitely take 441 also if you're headed this direction. And as you get closer to downtown Miami, things start to clear up for you. Let's take you a little bit further north. I do want to point out another area in Broward County that we're seeing some delays. 595 going eastbound. You can see it's just after the turnpike. That right there is a nice little chunk of red. But the good news is once you get past it, you are in the green. On that note, I'll leave you with some drive times in that same area. Oh, actually, this is I-75 going northbound. Some drive times here for you. Palmetto to I-595 will take you 14 minutes. And the Palmetto to Pines Boulevard will take you 8. Be safe.
Annaliese.
Good morning, South Florida. It is Friday and things are starting to look a little better on your roads. Right now, I'm giving you a live look of the Julia Tuttle. This is your east and westbound lanes. Your eastbound lanes looking a little bit slower than your westbound lanes. Your westbound lanes are moving nice and smooth, even clearly, not even a car in those westbound lanes. If you're getting onto the beach, you can see that things are moving slowly. I did take a look at the MacArthur Causeway and it's more clear. So if that is part of your commute, definitely consider taking the MacArthur Causeway. This right here is an area we're seeing some heavy delays. This is the I-95 going southbound. So your southbound lane's looking pretty slow here. Speeds coming in as slowly as 14 miles per hour. You can take 441 if you'd like to avoid this as you approach the Airport Expressway. Another area we're seeing some delays here, also getting onto the beaches right here, the Bar Harbor area. You can see that you have some delays there on Northeast 123rd Street. You can see that little pocket of red. It's just nice and slow. If you do head that far north in this area to try to get a little further east, then you're seeing some delays there. You might come on and consider getting on further down south if you're coming coming from down south. If you're coming from north and you're going that way, then you're going to have to sit in this. So give yourself a little extra time. 595 going eastbound, I-75 to US 1, 15 minutes. University Drive to US 1, 9. Be safe.
All right, Annaliese.